Well, looks like I have a new habit. All right. It's never planned out. The lives I tried earlier were a bust, and well, this one, this year, this moment, right now, I have specifically chosen to reflect on. Bear with me, gotta get comfortable. To reflect on kind of where I was about maybe a decade ago. I do this for good reason. Hey, good evening to you, White Dragon. Forgive me, even though, not big on the apology tour thing anymore. But I have exposed my actions, not actions, not distractions. Still getting used to not calling him birthday chat supervisor. All right, so I'm gonna do my method. All right, when I do this, when the icon is like this, when I'm speaking and I don't have to be on the PC and worry about presentation or anything else. I very much focus on what it is I want to explain or deliver. So I'm personally, I don't know what really triggered the memory. I've been so caught up in the spontaneity and chaos of everyday living, everyday life, as little as a few yesterdays and the prospect of tomorrow, all of which has become predictable. I very, very easily allow myself to forget how far I've come. And I hope that there's many other people that, if they so choose to listen to this live, perhaps there's something that resonates, that they relate to, and maybe they can pat themselves on the back. Positivity. That is the main goal of this channel at current and will always be, aside from every other mission statement I've made. 10 years ago today was after my lung surgery, after I overworked myself. I wasn't complaining though. I was making great money in this the flooring business. I believe this was soon after being a DJ for about for about a decade. And this is when I was working with a family replacing floors. Now, um, I've made it no secret. I feel, I don't want to blame, but I feel that the medical system, as it is here in the States, in Florida, back during the opioid epidemic, a real epidemic, by the way, um, captivated me. I my rib cage was split open, and I had pictures of that on an old computer. It's grotesque. They made my father look at it as the doctor put his hand into my body and was squeezing any pus he could find. Trigger warning. This was on a job site. Something toxic was inhaled, and lo and behold, the medical team and hospital and everybody involved in me getting better put me on various amounts of painkillers. 3 months go by, about 12 days in the ICU, a lot of nightmares on morphine drips, and 3 months I'm at home, bedridden, and the nurse that would pay me a visit every single day just suddenly stopped without any notice. There was no true system in place to introduce a highly addictive substance and then to wean you off. So I hear it raining outside. It's always peaceful, makes me at ease. So I'm thinking back. I thought it was such a vacation at first. I would be taking all these opiates and playing Call of Duty, and it was the only time I played online games and talking smack to other people and yada yada. I really truly thought I was having the time of my life. and just being all the while. I mean, I could not move. I couldn't get up. I was still bedridden for the better part of almost the entirety of 3 months by design. And then, when it stopped, what other option would a new addict, find themselves with? I lived in the trailer parks in a certain area in Florida. My decrepit, broken body would walk to the back of my single entrance trailer park, jump up a, I don't know how tall this brick wall was that surrounded the trailer park. I'd use my upper body to push up. Meanwhile, my rib cage was being held together by some hospital medical glue. I'd stretch and jump onto the other side, land really hard on my feet. Don't know if I could do that these days. Maybe one day I'm gonna go over back to my old neighborhood, climb the old brick wall, see if I still got it. And I go to the famous 8th Street, is what we called it. That's where all the crime happened. That's where all the deals were done, the robberies and all that. And that's where I was introduced to my DOC. So I'm thinking right now, at some point I got back into somehow doing construction jobs, flooring. And I remember I'd be getting paid $2,000 cash. I would throw it away for 40 pills, Roxasets. I remember my desperation was just at its peak. My hands would be out like I was starving in a desert waiting for water. And my dealer, ironically, who I still know on Facebook and have no words to exchange, hopefully she's changed her life. She dropped these, $40 pills in the palms of my hands, and they would drop off into the grass. I didn't give a shit because I was hurting so bad, physically, psychologically. So I say all this for a simple reason. I take a moment to look around at YouTube, or, I mean, more importantly, my life outside of YouTube is satisfactory. I'm not willing to say it's, everything I want it to be. I think we strive for obtaining what we want, and, we pretty much die trying. In my hypothetical, we strive to be as happy as we can be, fulfilled as we can be, and we die in the pursuit, and we obtain it, but it's always a pursuit and it never ends. That is the human condition. But I want to document this and remind myself where I was, who I was. That was the me that pawned my family's jewelry. That was the me, that was involved with scumbag people and just darkness, nothing but darkness. I screwed over people, other addicts, screwed over myself, and I'm saying all this not to just revel in misery, but to celebrate how far I've come. That was damn near 20 some odd years ago, maybe. I hope that's accurate. I hope I'm not embellishing. Let me think about that for a moment. I know I've been clean well over a decade. 14 years, 12, 14 years. I've not had a painkiller. I refuse to take a painkiller. I don't care what form or whatever the case. Tylenol is as far as I'll go, and not the prescription kind. So if there's anything that anybody and everybody can take that hears this, I know there's so many of you that are going through nonsense right now. You forget what you've been through. You don't give yourself the credit that you've earned. You survived. I have been beaten half to death by a very specific biker gang years ago, which is why I um, which is why I carry legally. I'll never forget that. And it was frightening, to while you're being beaten by two large individuals and you think you're not going to see the day after. Yeah, that was the moment I went from the Democrat that thought I would never need to be armed, that I evolved. That was one step in my little evolution journey. But just remember, all of you, anybody that's listening, I don't care what foot we got off on, if we're beefing or have beefed, if we're at peace or we're not, if you've heard bad things, you've privately judged me or publicly judged me, I don't care. I want you to think about everything you've gone through that has brought you to this moment today. And you can take a deep breath and celebrate that you're able to do so. If you're similar to me in the sense that you have survived the majority of your 30s, I think you've learned that you can find some gratitude in the fact that you are a survivor, a fighter. You're worthy of life. You're worthy of those that are your loved ones that have helped you survive this long on a very chaotic journey. We do not get through life unscathed without our battle scars. And this journey, it's all meant to build us up to whomever and whatever we're meant to be. And I'm still really, truly, especially recently, like I really am passionate about sharing the shorts of the comic books and stuff, and I just don't know how to implement it. I don't feel that it's appropriate to put it or force it into the main aspect of this channel. I think we have larger goals, but it's also a passion. And I do apologize. This I apologize for. I'm stuck at night through no fault of Josh's or mine. Has an issue that we need to conquer, and then we'll be back up and running. If not, I'm gonna tell Josh he's gonna come on this side, and we're gonna do it from here to the best of our ability. Because frankly, I enjoy podcasting with Josh. It's funny, it's fun, it's engaging, and I'm looking forward to working with more people. I would like to collaborate, and I just want to celebrate the fact that, hey, yeah, you survived, and so have I. Let's make the most of it. Let's not focus on any of the things that will help the white hairs grow on our scalp or get our blood pressure, rising and lead to that early heart attack. Why don't we all just try once again to cut each other some slack? We have so many similarities that are near infinite compared to our differences. If I was a praying man, I'd be praying for us to all realize that. I'm a cynicist. However, I'm an optimist to some degree and a dreamer. And it is the very notion of having a dream where my hope that all of us that have been through everything life can throw at you, and then some, good, bad, or ugly, brings us to this very moment in the present where we can have the self-awareness to do something special and have us all together in that moment. I have hope in humanity, not much else. Not our power structures, not our system, not our politicians. It all has to start from the bottom if we hope to see any progress even begin to touch the top. My last community post, by the way, was a recent uh, post by Sean, who is Jamie Valdez's sister. Please check it out. There's information on how you can help the case. And it was posted 2 days ago. I'm going to reach out. And yet again, I'm going to offer Sean and the family yet another opportunity to bring that case to light and share it everywhere I can. So that's it, guys. Hey, sorry. So this is my method. I My eyes were closed the whole time, and I've opened them, and I see people now here, and I say thank you, one and all. See Fowles, it's good to see you, and I know you have I can't deny I'm immensely impressed that your sobriety has continued and does continue. The small stories that I've shared, they're really nothing compared to everything else that I've been through, but that's when we start to share our so-called war stories, which is what they are, when we're at war with ourselves and the world and our own survival. It's it's not a competition. It's something where we can recognize that we are worthy and strong human beings, and when we put that strength together, we're capable of something so much more positive and worthwhile than when we take our time to try to tear each other down. If I could go through my greatest hits, and I have, and some of my stories have been used against me, so I suppose some wisdom tells me not to share some of what I've been through. I almost did something heinous once, and it was no more than a thought that did not occur. Um, Trying to think into some of the other depths of darkness when you manifest masochism in its own physical form, and I know YouTube is sensitive about this. I gave myself the Joker smile on my right right side of the face, from the lip to the cheek. It's a scar that's healed so much it's hard to see. Um, and yeah, look, I was never really in a gang. I was around many gangs because that's just what it was in the trailer park area of Florida that I lived in, and unfortunately, there was a lot of violence. Just trying to get to school and getting G checked about what colors I was wearing, and you know, uh, there was the one beat down from the bikers. The other one was two a father and son, a good old father and son team. Not the cool father and son, by the way. Um, no, a Cuban father and son that lived in a trailer park right behind a bar we frequented that got torn down because of the high crime. It's where I met my first prostitute, by the way. No, nothing happened. But I met her pimp, and they jumped me as well. And I remember I had to crawl back, leaking, um, to the bar. It was called Andy's way back when. It's gone now. And I remember when that door opened, it was an old high school friend of mine who, and I'm still friends with her brother. She opened the door. I don't know, maybe she worked there at the time. She saw how bloody I was, and she said, "Oh, hell no," and she slammed the door in my face. She slammed the door in my face after I said, I need somebody to call help. Help did arrive, by the way. There was two police officers. They showed up. There's two lesbian cops, or I don't know if they were, but they definitely act in a certain manner. Sorry, judgmental. I'm not asking for a pass. I said what I said. They were pricks. They treated me like I was the criminal, even though I was bleeding everywhere. And they asked me if I wanted to press charges. For the first time in my life and the only time in my life, I said yes. And I couldn't quite remember because I had a concussion where the trailer was where I was beaten. And they were so mad, they were cussing me out. They were yelling at me for bleeding in the back seat. And I remember eventually, inevitably, and we did get them both out there. After many, many months, there was a court hearing and they fled the country. But they drove backward. My old trailer was not that far from this bar, Andy's Liquor Lounge. This chick, the female cop, when I asked, I said, "Look, I'm hurt and I can't afford a hospital. Could you please take me home?" It was just a matter of driving around It's like a roundabout, like a cul-de-sac almost. Only you had to go around the entirety of my neighborhood to get past, to get into that single entrance. This crazy woman drove backwards at maybe 40 miles per hour and told me to get the fuck out of her car and made me walk from the front of the park, and I lived in the back. So I had a hobble. I'll never forget waking up with all the bruises, dings, and blood. And I was trying to hide it from my parents, and that only worked for 5 minutes until they're like, "What the hell happened?" So it's little anecdotes and stories like these. You remember these things, and I don't say it to remember it to be morbid. I say it to remember how far you have come. And yes, it's okay. Pat yourself on the back. Because if you're here today, right now, I don't care how old you are in some shape or form a fighter and survivor, even if you do not want to acknowledge that. And that's the message I wish to leave everybody with before I turn in and wake up early for a fantastic Friday at work. Good night, everybody. By the way, yes, sea fowls is always welcome here. And truly, technically, always has been. Same with Bryn. Same with nearly just about 99% of YouTube. I can't really even think of anybody I'd say, get the hell out. Get out now. I honestly can't. Maybe honestly, truly, sincerely, one person I'd give some shit to, but I wouldn't kick anybody out. I wouldn't block anybody. I, I've learned, and I hate to say, as an adult, I'm 38 fucking years old. It took me to be this old and go through some stupid life lessons on YouTube to realize how little this world within this phone, within the interwebs is. And if we let it spill out into our real lives, we're the ones that are allowing the damage, and we cannot hold the people that push the stress onto us responsible. I had to learn that in a very hard way, and I did, and I'm grateful for the lesson. The more gratitude you can accumulate, the more you can accomplish. And that's a personal guarantee. All right. So, with that, Progressive Patriot out, and good night.